There was a boy named Liam whose mother worked 2 jobs and rarely came home. His father, a kind man, had been battling cancer for years. Eventually, medical bills piled up and they lost their home. A few months later, his father passed away in hospice care. Liam's mom tried to stay strong, but life got harder and they barely had enough to eat. One afternoon, Liam found an expensive watch hidden in a shoebox in the kitchen cupboard. Thinking it was his father's gift to him, he wore it to school proudly. But when his mom saw it, she slapped it off his wrist in tears and yelled at him. A week later, she was gone, vanished without a word, leaving Liam to grow up in foster care. Years passed. On the day of Liam's college graduation, as he stepped outside in his gown, a frail woman in rags approached him from the crowd. She asked, "Can I hug you, son?" Confused and angry, he pushed her away and told security to remove her. As they dragged her away, she dropped a small envelope on the ground. Inside was a letter that read, "My dearest Liam, I'm so sorry. That watch you wore belonged to the hospital's director. I stole it to pay your father's final bills. I was arrested and served 10 years in prison. I couldn't forgive myself for yelling at you, but I never stopped loving you. I only came today to see how far you've come. Love." Mom. Liam dropped to his knees, tears pouring down his face. He ran to the gate and screamed, "Mom!" Security stopped. Liam reached her, embraced her tightly, and whispered, "Please walk me to the stage." A boy asked his mom, "Why do I have a scar on my hand?" His mom explained, "When you were little, your older brother accidentally hurt you while you were playing. He ran to him shouting, 'You're mean! You did this to me! I hate you!'" The boy and his brother grew up never speaking to each other. Their mom passed away without them making up. They both got married and had children, but they still didn't talk. Deep inside, they missed each other. The older brother would think, "If only my little brother would let me apologize." The younger brother would think, "If only he would come and say sorry, I would forgive him." Years passed, but nothing changed. One day, the younger brother's phone rang. "Hello, I'm your brother's wife. He's very sick in the hospital," she said. The younger brother said, "I hope he gets better," but he didn't go to visit. Then the younger brother got more bad news. His older brother had a stroke. He couldn't talk or move. By the time the younger brother arrived, his brother had passed away. The older brother had left a note for him. "Dear brother, I miss you so much. My biggest regret is not saying sorry. Please let our children love each other and never be like us. This is my last wish." An old woman died, and her cat lay down next to her and also died. The woman's soul stood in front of a silver gate. Next to her was the soul of her cat. A quiet man stood near the gate. The woman asked, "What is this place?" The man said, "You died. This is heaven. You can go in and rest now." The woman asked, "Is there tea in heaven?" "Yes," the man said. "There is tea." She asked, "Are there soft chairs?" The man said, "You will have everything you like." The woman looked at her cat. She said, "But I have my cat with me." The man said, "I'm sorry. The cat can't go in. The cat must stay here." The woman shook her head. She did not go in. She stayed with her cat and walked away. They walked for a long time. Then they saw another gate far away. A man sat next to this gate under a tree. The woman asked, "What is this place?" The man said, "This is heaven." She asked, "Can I bring my cat?" "Of course," said the man. She smiled. Then she asked, "What was the other gate?" The man said, "That was hell. Only people who don't leave their friends come to the real heaven." One cold morning, an old man named Elijah saw 3 women standing outside near his garden. He walked over and asked, "Are you tired? Would you like to come inside and rest?" They smiled and asked, "Is your wife at home?" "No," Elijah said. "She went to the market, but she will be back soon." "Then we cannot come in," the women said. Later, Elijah's wife Miriam came home. He told her about the 3 women waiting outside. She quickly went to them and said, "I am home now. Please come inside." But the women said, "We cannot all come in together." "Why not?" Miriam asked. The first woman said, "My name is Peace." The second said, "I am Wisdom." The third said, "And I am Joy." "Go back inside," they said. "Ask your family which one of us you want to invite." Miriam went inside and told her husband and daughter what the women said. Elijah said, "Let's invite Wisdom." Miriam said, "No, let's invite Peace." Then their daughter Ruth said softly, "I think we should invite Joy. If we have joy, everything will feel better." Miriam smiled and went outside. She said, "Joy, please come in." As Joy started walking, the other 2 followed her. Miriam was surprised. "But I only invited Joy. Why are you coming too?" The women smiled and said, "When there is joy, peace, and wisdom always come along." An old woman sat on a park bench near a train station every morning. One day, a kind train conductor saw her and asked, "Why do you sit here every day, ma'am?" She smiled softly and said, "I'm waiting for my grandson to come home." Each morning, the conductor saw her sitting in the same spot, holding a small photo in her hands. "Does he come on this train?" he asked one day. "One day he will," she answered. The seasons changed, and the woman still came. Rain or shine, she sat and waited, always smiling at people passing by. One snowy morning, the conductor noticed her hands were shaking. He brought her tea and sat beside her. "Is your grandson coming today?" he asked gently. With tears in her eyes, she said, 5 years ago, he left to study in another country. Before he left, he told me, 'Wait for me at the station, Grandma. I'll come back to you.'" She looked at the photo in her hand and whispered, "I know he might might never come, but this is where I feel close to him. The conductor sat quietly beside her, and every day after that, he made sure she never waited alone. Jake hated his shoes. They were old, scratched, and 2 sizes too big. At school, kids laughed. "Are those clown shoes?" Jake looked down and stayed quiet. One day after class, it started to rain. Jake saw a boy sitting under a tree, barefoot, shivering. The boy smiled when he saw Jake. "Hey, I like your shoes. I've never had a pair before." Jake looked at his shoes, then at the boy's muddy feet. Without saying a word, he took them off and handed them over. "They're kind of big," Jake said, "but they're warm." The boy's eyes filled with tears. He hugged the shoes like a treasure. Jake walked home barefoot, but his heart felt full. What you complain about, someone else is praying for. He had everything he wanted, but in the end, he lost the one thing he needed most. Jack was a successful businessman. He had a big house, a fast car, and plenty of money. He worked long hours, always aiming for the next goal. His friends admired him, his family praised him, but Jack never felt satisfied. There was always more to achieve. One evening, as Jack was rushing to a meeting, his wife Sarah asked, "Can we spend time together this weekend?" Jack brushed her off. "I can't right now, Sarah. I have a lot on my plate." The words sounded harsh, but he didn't think twice. After all, he had everything, didn't he? The weekend came, but Jack's mind was consumed with work. When he finally returned home late that night, Sarah was gone. Her things were packed. A note on the kitchen table read, "I waited, but you were never here. I can't wait forever." Jack tried to fix things, but it was too late. The time he spent chasing success had cost him the most important relationship in his life. Alone, he realized that his career and wealth meant nothing without love and connection.